I didn't even check the microphone.
Whoops.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Jewel and Arit here. Sorry, I forgot to check the microphone.
Yeah, check the mic. Hold on a second.
Where do we go for options?
Well,
That's gonna mute it. That's gonna mute it.
No, but it
Hello?
is working. Look.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, but is it the right mic? We don't know that. We won't know.
Oh.
I already went live. Okay.
Well, let us know if it sounds good, guys, or if you're hearing like a lot of background noise, because we have a mic here, which should sound clean, but we're not sure if it's set to that or not. So
I'm going to also go on Facebook Live here. Just 1 second. So I'm going to initiate this here. Starting live. All right. So we're live on Facebook now as well.
hello.
And YouTube's down here. All right. How's it going, guys? Happy Thursday morning. We are in our workout gear because we're going to be heading out to a personal training session. We like to do these before our personal training session, and then that way we can just get the live out of the way, and then we can go work out and then get the rest of the day going. So today's topic, and for those of you on Facebook, we actually do these lives weekly, but I said today I want to do a live on Facebook as well.
Yeah, we don't normally do that on Facebook. It's usually on our channel.
Yeah, it's usually on our channel on the week. But I was like, no, I want to add Facebook today. So now we've got like a 2 configuration going on. So we've got YouTube down here and we've got Facebook up here. So today's topic is books that changed our lives. Now I have a very, very specific book that changed my life. And it's the reason why I'm an entrepreneur and why the hell I'm doing all this stuff right now. And Arit has a book that has highly impacted her life as well.
Yes.
So just wanted to say a couple of people. Hey, Fuzzy Randomness on YouTube. Hey, Dennis. Hey, Lee on Facebook. Thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And yeah, so I'm going to talk about this book right here. Now, the cover was removed, like that front piece, the sleeve or whatever, was removed. But this book is The Secret. So this book literally changed my life in 2009/10 is when I first found this book in a Chapters bookstore. For those of you who are local, the bookstore was on, it's that really big Chapters just before downtown. What street is it? Granville and Broadway. Yeah.
Let us know if you've read this book too, by the way. We'd be interested in hearing what, if you've read any of these books yourselves.
The Chapters on Broadway and Granville, that really big one. I randomly went to that Chapters, and at the time before I read this book, I did not like reading. I thought reading was stupid. Okay, I don't think that anymore. I think reading is amazing. But I thought that reading was stupid, mainly because in elementary and high school and just growing up, reading was such a pain point for me. I wasn't very good at it. Whenever the teacher would call on me to read in public, I would always stumble and I would get anxiety and I would get really weird about reading. Reading was a problem for me. So that's why I didn't like reading. And I also didn't have any books that I wanted to read. It was all stuff that was given to us. Hey, Franco, how's it going? Good to see you.
Hi, Franco.
So I hated reading, but I ended up at this Chapters for whatever reason. Now, the person who I was before I found this book was completely lost in life. So I had been working at an insurance job in downtown Vancouver, in Cole Harbor area. And I was depressed. I had a lot of anxiety. I didn't know what was happening in my life. I didn't understand, okay, I have this cool job. I'm making good money, what I thought was good money. I have a waterfront view. I can sit down because my previous job was McDonald's and Starbucks. So I went from that to an office job. And I'm in my 20s, and I'm thinking, okay, why aren't I happy? What is wrong with me or my life? And when I went into this Chapters, this book caught my attention. And in particular, this stamp. So this stamp right here, the secret is known for the S stamp.
The medieval wax stamp.
Yes, the medieval wax stamp. And if you went to school with me in high school, you know that I like medieval times. So this book attracted me to it. I walked up to it, and it was like a small little cute book, and I picked it up, and I was like, the secret? What the hell? What's the secret?
What
do you mean?
The secret?
What do you mean? Like, what
Yeah.
is the secret? And I picked up the book, and I went to a chapter's associate who worked there, and I was like, what's the secret? Like, what do you mean? And then she's like, oh, you don't know about the secret? And I'm like, no, I have no idea what this is. And she's like, it's about the law of attraction. And I'm like, the law of attraction, what was that? I didn't learn about that in science. And she's like, it's really big. There's a DVD. You should watch it. She didn't really go into too much detail because I don't think she knew too much about it herself going into that much detail. And on a whim and out of desperation, out of wanting something completely different, I was like, okay, I'll buy the book.
Because of the medieval looking stamp.
Yeah, the medieval looking stamp. And the lady said it's the law of attraction, and there was going to be a really cool DVD. And
to watch, probably like mysterious to you. You're like, you're just curious.
Yeah.
And you're wanting to know what it's about.
It was mysterious to me, and I was like, okay, I'll get it. So I got it, and then I ended up reading it later that day, and I finished the whole thing in that day. Now, I had never finished a book in one day. I didn't ever finish really books. I would always skip over. I would fall asleep. Like, just reading was just whatever to me. So after I read this book, after I got to the last page, I had decided, and I said out loud in my room on my bunk bed that I had to share with my sister, I said, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. And that was it. And that was this book. Like, that's how I just read it, and I just decided at that moment that I was going to be an entrepreneur. Now, there was a lot of things in here that opened up my eyes. The law of attraction, and how basically if you're in a certain circumstance in your life, you have a choice. You have a choice to stay in it or to get out of it. And it's all up to you. But I was blaming everything else. Like, I was blaming everybody else and everything else, the world, the people around me. It's everyone else's fault but me. So
I think before this book, before reading this book, we're always taught to believe that we're going through life and things are happening to us and that are out of our control, and so we just continue on in life feeling like we're victims of circumstances, of our jobs, of our finances, of friends and family, like everything that might not be going well for you in life. It's like you feel victimized. But this book places the power in your hands, basically. It shows you that you are the one who's in the driver's seat. You are the one who's dictating everything that's going on around you. As weird as that sounds, as weird as that sounds, and like how it is hard to believe, but the way that it's explained and the way that she, that Rhonda lays it out in the book is like, everything that's happening to you is happening for a reason. And it's happening because of things that you put out in terms of energy or thoughts or behaviors. And it's all being attracted into your world. So it sounds kind of weird, but it's really cool. And it's definitely been effective in putting this kind of stuff to our advantage, to attracting what we really want to happen in our lives.
So after reading that book, I literally made a snap decision, and that changed my life. I was like, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. Didn't have any experience, didn't know what the hell kind of entrepreneur I wanted to do. I just said, I want to create my own life. I want to create my own income. I want to do things for myself. So that's what I had decided. And then I went to a read, and I was like, I want to become an entrepreneur. And she was like, what? What are you talking about? What do you mean? because, you know, Arit came from a very academic background, and I was like, you need to read this book right now. Like, you need to read it. And I made her read it, and it didn't affect you. Like, to be honest, it didn't affect you as much as it affected me.
Yeah, it didn't flip the switch like instantly like it did for you. This was kind of one of the books for me that started the whole personal development journey, and like I just became obsessed with reading more and more about it, because like for me, it's hard for me to just believe something like after, you know, reading one book. So it's like a stacking of many books that I've read over time that all kind of say the same thing and have similar messages. That's what really created an impact in my life.
Yeah, like for me, I was at a point where I needed some sort of sign or something that was going to tell me that everything was going to be good. And that was this book. And for Arit, she had many books that had changed her life. Hey, Lester, how's it going? That's the book that kickstarted some change in my life when it was sex. That's awesome. That's really cool to hear. Yeah, a lot of people have been affected by have been affected in a good way by this book. And the cool thing about this book was I love this book so much, and I tell people about it all the time. Like years ago, I think like 3 years ago, I created a YouTube video talking about how this book changed my life. And I went into much greater detail about what was really going on in my life, because I was going through a lot mentally. And I just put it in the video, and I said, you know, I want to thank Rhonda, who is the author of this book, and thank the book, and just put the video out there. And then I think like a year later, after putting out that video, I got an email from someone from Rhonda's team, someone who works directly with Rhonda Byrne, the author of The Secret. And he had messaged me saying that he saw my video, he sent it to Rhonda, and Rhonda was writing another book called How The Secret Changed My Life, which is based off of The Secret. And he said that she's creating this, they're about to release the book. We want to thank you for putting out that video. Can we send you a copy of the book? Now, I was freaking out because I couldn't believe that someone from Rhonda's team saw my video and it was actually legitimate, and they sent the video to her to see, and she watched it. So he had sent me a copy of this book. And then he's like, you know, you don't need to create a video or anything. We just want to say thank you. Here's a copy of the book. And I filmed myself opening this book, because this book was like changed my life completely. And so when I opened the book and the unboxing of the packaging for this, there's a video of this as well. I opened it and I like see this message, and then I like burst into tears. This is a handwritten message from the author of The Secret, Rhonda Byrne. She wrote to me. I don't know if you guys can see it. If you can see it here. Mm-hmm. She wrote, "To Jewel, I hope this book inspires you to the next level of what's possible. Everything. Thank you, Rhonda Byrne." And when she wrote, I could not believe, like it was like almost like a dream come true, because this book had changed my life. And then the author of it was like messaged, like, I know she has a ton of people that she's messaging, but for her to do a handwritten note and write my name and sign it, I thought she was just going to autograph it, and then that's it. I didn't think she was going to write anything specific in it. But this, like, that meant a lot to me. And I've been thinking about this book ever since I first found it, and for the author to write to me and send me a copy, I was already going to buy this. Like anything that Rhonda was going to put out, I was going to buy it.
This is basically a collection of stories of like just regular people around the world of how this book, The Secret, changed their lives.
Yeah. So it's interesting, because the second book, How the Secret Changed My Life, is a combination of stories of how this book changed their life. So there's a ton of stories in here of all different genres of actual people using The Secret and then applying it in their lives. And then that's this book.
Yeah, it just raises your belief even further in what she talks about in the first book.
Yeah.
Hey, Darren, how's it going?
Good. How are you? Haven't talked to you in a long time. Let's see here.
And the Naughty Yachty on YouTube. Yes, The Secret. I'm guessing you've heard of it. I know a lot of people have heard of it, but they haven't picked it up.
It's on Netflix as well. I recommend reading the book first and then watching the video. And then if you really like it, then you can check out this book as well. Because they all go together. And it depends on you. Like, it really depends on where you are, what's happening with you mentally. I was open to receiving this kind of information. Because I was in 2008, 9, and 10, like I was completely destroyed mentally and didn't really know what was happening. So when this information came along to me, I was ready to receive it and ready to make a change. Let's talk about...
It's kind of like what you're talking about with The Secret is kind of like the book that Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. It's kind of like that because that book was in the when you go to chapters, it's in the New Age section. And I was like, this book was recommended to me like over and over again. And I was like looking for it in the business or personal development sections. And it's actually like in a weird section, New Age section. I'm like, what is this? What am I about to read? But I picked it up, I read it, and I couldn't put it down. It's a similar thing of how, whatever you put out there, you're attracting it or you're pushing things away by the way that you're feeling. Like, it really talks about how our emotions they're like magnets. And, feeling joy and happiness and positive emotions, they attract the things that we think about into our lives. Those are magnets that pull things closer to us. Whereas fear and doubt and all of these negative emotions, it's pushing things away. It's not it's not magnetizing things that you want into your life. And it sounds weird, it sounds crazy, it sounds whatever you want to think, but it's true. It's so true. And I firmly believe that. Not just from the books that I've read, but occurrences that have happened in my life and experiences. And it's just like, it's cool. Like The Secret and Ask and It Is Given, 2 really good books on that topic, specifically about, putting out there what you want to happen in your life and how to attract it into your life. Now, going into more like business type, business-minded, like planning, strategizing, all that kind of stuff, those kinds of books, this has really impacted me. So High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I don't really watch his videos, or I know he has a podcast too, but I really connected with his book. And this talk, he has an academy that he put together. He's done tons of studies. He has like a whole research team and everything, really analyzing what makes someone successful, what makes a high performer who they are. And, he looked at all kinds of high performers, athletes and people who are icons in the business industry and, across many different industries. And they put it down into a science. Like they did all these studies and kind of narrowed down what are the habits that these people practice over and over again in their lives that have contributed so greatly to their success. And he names 6 high performance habits, and they're so the first one is clarity. Being absolutely clear. I'm going to super simplify this. He goes into it in way more detail, but clarity, being absolutely clear on what you want. Energy, so having a habit of generating energy on an ongoing basis, like on a daily basis, and harvesting that energy within you. Necessity is the other one. So having like this this feeling where you are like, it's your duty to succeed. Like, it's necessary. It's so ingrained in you that you can't, like, it's such a huge part of you. So this is another habit that across the board, all of them had. Productivity. We all know what that is. So having a good productivity habit. Influence. They had to some degree, they all had a certain sense of influence on other people that was being harvested, as well as courage. So these, and the cool thing, it's not like, oh, if you don't have these things, you won't be successful. No, these are habits. These are habits that you study, you practice every single day, and anybody can do this. And anybody, if they practice these habits, will reach whatever definition of success they set in their lives. And this got us through a bunch of things, including getting banned off of Fiverr.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, like I started reading this, I think November, or about a year ago. And that whole thing with Fiverr happened in February. And I think just, practicing this on an ongoing basis in terms of like really being mindful of these habits. Because, we might hear like, oh, you gotta set goals. You gotta know what you want. So that's the clarity piece. That's that. But what about all of these other things? They all kind of work together and contribute together to push you into that high performance world. So this is something that really impacted me in my, like, earlier in this entrepreneurial journey. What really opened my eyes was the 4-hour work week.
Tim Ferriss.
Yeah. To be able to work 4 hours in a week and just make that kind of money. And it completely flips your perspective. Now it's totally normal. Like, so many people are making a lot of money online. But at the time that I read that, it was unheard of. So these are all books that had,
made an impact on our lives.
Huge impact on our lives. And I hope that, if one of these resonated with you, you'll go and check it out and pick it up.
Yeah, I highly recommend checking it out. Hi, Lisa. How's it going? If you don't really like reading, you can also do Audible. I also do Audible as well. Because I have to admit, I don't read as much as I should, but I do listen to audio all the time. Currently, we're listening to Grant Cardone's book. What's it called?
Be Obsessed
or Be
Average.
Be Obsessed or Be Average. And we listen to that before we go to our personal training session. And if you've ever heard of Grant Cardone, he's a pretty aggressive, intense energy. So when we listen to that and then we go into our workout, it's like beast mode when it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another question that we get is like, how did you decide you were going to become an entrepreneur, and like, how did you get started? Well, I read this book, and then, like I said at the end of it, I just decided and said, yeah, I'm going to become an entrepreneur. I didn't know what kind, did not have any experience. I've never been to any kind of schooling, whatever. Everything that we have learned, that me and Arit have learned to get us to this point right now, has all been through Google and YouTube. Those are our universities that we have attended, and like, we're all self-taught. Obviously, we bought other people's courses, like online video courses, but nothing was like, we never went to school, like actual school for
We don't have
anything.
MBAs or anything like that.
No.
For business.
And you literally just have to make the decision. When people say, oh, when did you become a YouTuber? And it was like, when I said I was a YouTuber, when I said I am now a YouTuber and I'm now going to tell people I am a YouTuber.
Yeah, it's whenever you decide what you want to become. If you have the guts and the audacity to be like, yeah, I'm going to become this. This is what I want. And just do it. Just do it without, don't wait for permission from others to tell you that this is who you can become. You have to give yourself permission and just go at it. It's the same thing with when I decided I want to perform. I want to perform on stage. And that was so far from my mind. I had never ever performed in front of everyone, let alone sing in front of everyone. When I made that decision, nobody knew that I wanted to sing because I kept this as a secret inside of me, buried deep down, because I didn't think it was even an option. And it was so far from my mind, but I had this vision that I wanted to perform on stage in front of lots of people. And later on, we went, like a few years later, it turned into going on tour, releasing my first album. It's so amazing what can happen when you just decide
and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And yeah, when with the whole YouTube, like when people ask, when did you become a YouTuber? And it's like, when I said I was a YouTuber, and that was at the point, like when we had 300 subscribers. I didn't wait till we had 1,000 or a certain number, and then I was going to become a YouTuber. Same with becoming an entrepreneur. We started calling ourselves entrepreneurs when we like thought of our name, which at the time was Essetino Connections, which was a greeting card company, by the way. We wanted to be an eco-friendly greeting card company. That was our first business venture. That's another story, but went horribly. But, we just, at that time, we're like, okay, we're this greeting card company. We're going to go and buy all the stuff from Michael's craft store. We spent hundreds of dollars, started making stuff, and we just decided and take action, and we redesigned our first logo in paint. And
oh my God, I remember that. MS Paint.
Yes. In paint in 2009 or 10. And it looked all pixelated and ghetto, and it's not what it is now. And it's not now how she knows how to do graphic design and Photoshop, and she's doing like ebook designs and PDF designs and worksheet designs now for people. You just have to just take the leap and just do it.
Yeah, totally. James, The Magic of Thinking Big.
Yeah, I read that one as well. That one, yeah, it's an older book. The language is a little bit older, but yes, still good. I think I also listened to the audio of that as well. Hey, Johnny, how's it going? That's my cousin.
Oh, hi, who's Johnny?
How's it going? Thanks for tuning in here. But yeah, I mean, it's all up to you, and we just want to share, because these books might not do what it did for us, but we just want to share them, and maybe it will lead you to something that will turn on the light bulb, the switch for you. You never know. You honestly, like, life is so crazy. You never know what's going to happen. So we just wanted to share that with you. We do need to head out to our personal training session. Arit, why don't you pull up your music and show people your Spotify?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm working on growing my Spotify right now. This is another thing that I'm learning, is how to run Instagram story ads to really find your fan base and bring those into your world on Spotify and on my YouTube channel as well. So if you guys are interested,
that's a perfume. That's
don't
a
buy
Chanel perfume.
No, that's not what I'm.
That's what.
Follow me on Spotify. Just type in my name, Aret, AURET. Put it up here.
AURET. Yeah, check her out. Check out her song, Cleopatra and Precious Moments. She's going to be releasing another song in November when we come back from Europe. And we would love your support if you want to check it out.
Yeah, Cleopatra is one of those songs where I actually I performed it on stage in here
all over
in New Westminster, but yeah, we went it across Canada, all over. But the show that was done here was something that I envisioned, and I like to the detail.
Yeah,
and it's something that manifested, like in terms of having like 4 male dancers with like me in costume, with a certain way that I would enter onto the stage, with being lifted up and all this kind of stuff. It was envisioned to the detail, guys, and I had no idea how it was going to happen, but it was like one of the best experiences ever in my life. And I put there's a performance video on my YouTube channel where you can see of that performance. So if you haven't checked it out, I think I posted it. Yeah, I posted it.
It's on Facebook as well.
Facebook, so
there's this part in the video that is like my favorite part. It's where the dancers lift her up in the air and they're rotating her. And when it was happening live, I remember when it was live, and I knew that part was coming up. I had seen it so many times in rehearsal. And I was looking at everyone else's reactions because I wanted to see what people were going to react to her being lifted up in the air. And what she was actually still singing while it was happening.
Had to work on that.
It was crazy. Everyone's like jaw dropped when it happened, and like the applause was crazy. And I knew that was like a moment Uri was gonna remember forever.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. Rehearsal was really messy the first time.
Like,
you have to really trust that things are gonna be okay, and like trust enough to just like focus on singing while being lifted up. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah. All right,
guys, we're gonna head out.
We need to head out to our training session. That's another thing that we need to talk about is health and why we're doing personal training session. That's going to be another video, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it, and
yeah, it was fun hanging out with you guys.
Let us know if you have any comments or questions down in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day, everyone.